Day one of Herbalife Leadership Development Retreat LDR, which happened in Jaipur 2026, and this is the day one summary of what happened today. So I will try to explain as much as I can, try to make it as simple yet try to give as much detail as possible. So number first thing, let's understand what's LDR. Also, Leadership Development Retreat is usually a program to develop a person who's doing business in Herbalife to teach them in a leadership level, that is teaching them about the business, how to take it further, and all of those things. I look a little tired because this is my full day. I was out, it was really packed. Okay, so starting with today, it was really packed, which is again surprising because to qualify for this event you need to at least do active world teams. Usually come for this event where big speakers are called so that they can take them to another level to take them further. So this was about LDR, and it's usually difficult to get into this, but a lot of people did come into this this event. So this actually proves that how big Herbalife is going on, and that the qualification, even though it's tougher, people are still qualifying for it. So what? Yeah. So day one was packed. So initially there was a special session, but I did not qualify for it. So that's usually for TAP team members. Again, people who have a bigger team. So I'm just going to cover the general part. So what happened? So what all was covered today? So starting with yeah. So first things first, what Herbalife tried to cover in the general session especially was about its development and its quality growth. So we tried to highlight by calling with a product development and a quality manager who works along with India to like develop different plans and all of those. Okay. So the major thing what they tried to cover was that there's Herbalife is actually trying to focus on personalization. So they're trying to say that there was once a time where you could just give one formula to everyone saying that you need nutrition, you need protein, all of this. But Herbalife is now understanding that the market is more complex than that, and people want a little more science. So people now, so what Herbalife is trying to do is, and what I personally understood from today's session is, it understood that people want personalization. Like what the nutrients what I need, which is obviously different from another person. Even though like even my own brother, the nutrients that he needs will be completely different than what I need. So based on that cellular level, based on that DNA science, Herbalife is trying to go into more and more development, more and more market, so more and more cellular science level, more and more personalized. So the development and quality development part, the Herbalife is trying to increase more and more plants and more developments. Uh, and then it's also trying to focus on seed to feed. So if like in other countries, if you need to produce like you need to produce soy, so most of these are not easily procurable and available, especially in India. India is usually a high seller of wheat, a high seller of rice. But what Herbalife is trying to do is trying to grow its own soybean in India. So again, that's a little bit difficult because you need to convince farmers to change their production from this to this. But that's what they're able to do. That's what they're trying to do, and they're also able to develop more extraction facilities also. So extraction facilities, as in like once you take your soy, then you extract the protein from it, and yeah, and trying to by the next few years make sure that if the entire sourcing is coming directly from India. So the entire product, if that's your box, so from the seed, from the ground to the end result, they're trying to procure as much of it as possible so that they have a proper control on it, which again comes to the next part, delivery. What Herbalife is trying to do is it's trying to also reduce the delivery time. The delivery time, like in tier one cities to tier three cities, that is your villages and towns, it's trying to deliver the products in the like suppose you place an order today, you're trying to send it in the next 3 days. So and they've been successful too, because I have noticed it personally that in Hyderabad, if I place an order today, I get it in maybe 2-3 days, and that's actually a really great thing. And they try to address it that by they're trying to make delivery even more faster, and they're trying to also personalize delivery, that is select a proper chair. Like if you want a particular delivery in certain areas, they're trying to identify who are the sources who are able to deliver very appropriately, very easily and efficiently. Okay, then they also highlighted that each and every process of these is properly checked, and that Herbalife is not just a brand name, but they're trying to also make it more and more safer. They're trying to make more better for something. They're trying to, like, that's what they said. They've also mentioned that like each individual product goes to almost twice as much as test to make sure like there's no extra spillage, there's no junk extra adding to the food. Like, because obviously you're trying to produce a huge amount of growth. There's a lot of products which are being sold. Almost millions, or I think close to billions of products have been sold by in Herbalife India. So there's obviously chances of error happening, like some parts falling in and all. And so trying to make sure like none of those happens. Like, quality is like the most utmost priority. And they're also trying to get something which is very crazy. They're trying to add QR code on top of every product. So if you have a shake, they're trying to add a QR code on top of it, so that uh, there's no fake products which are sold, because Herbalife has been facing the problem. Secondly, they're also trying to to get rid of that fake distributors problem. So what usually happens is, many people sell Herbalife products on Amazon, Flipkart, though they're not allowed to. So this will actually help Herbalife to catch those illegal sellers, and also obviously catch or for a consumer to know, if the product is genuine or no. Okay. Next, market, they've highlighted that almost 35% of India's population is going to be around Gen Z, and so they are having a current spending from 200 billion to about 1.8 trillion. So that's for you to know. Additionally, they also focused on health, that is the market conditions, how the market conditions are, and Herbalife, how it's trying to develop more and more into R&D, research and development. So currently, what Herbalife has also noticed, that anyone can create a product. Anyone can now, if you say you want to, like, there are many celebrities, right, who come out and say I want to create they're trying to create their own supplement brand or protein brand. It's very easy now. But what Herbalife is trying to say is we're kind of better, or we're a little bit different from those sellers. So they try to bring in this aspect by saying we are different. We're different how is because we have our own researchers, we have our own scientists, we have our own published articles, and we have our own unique formula. We do not take formula from others. So Herbalife is basically trying to highlight that compared to other people, we have an upper hand. Is because we've been doing it for a very long time, and we also invest a lot on quality. Like, for example, as I mentioned, C to fit from the growth till the end. And Herbalife also has its own formula. It also has its own scientists. It has its own research data. It also has published data. And it also, like, this is important, it has a few partnerships with IIT Madras, which is a very big thing. Then in Indian Institute of Science. Then it's also like been ranked number one, because it has invested heavily on, yeah, it's also number one weight management, number one in sports. But this is something interesting what Herbalife is doing. Herbalife is currently planning to invest on flavors, which was something unique. So what Herbalife I've noticed from the trading is they're doing a line approach. So if you're taking, for example, again, Formula One already has 10 flavors, but they're trying to make it even more bigger, because they understand there's 2 billion in India who, like, want different tastes, and, like, not everyone obviously likes the same old flavors. They want a new change, and Herbalife is understanding that, and they're investing in that. They're trying to invest in more flavors, and these flavors are trying to even take globally. So that's interesting. And as I said, personalization is currently a $34 billion market. So they're trying to get into that through LifeIO, Bionic, Protocol, and trying to understand different biomarkers, trying to get into that science. So biomarkers, as in, like, doing a blood test and finding out what, how much vitamins you need, how much vitamin D, for example, how much is your vitamin D low, vitamin D high, how much supplementation could you take, should you take, that your body requires, how much protein do you require, how much protein do I require. So that kind of precision wellness is what Herbalife is trying to invest in, trying to get into. Okay, so the focus is basically towards growth, to go as much deeper, as much understanding of a person as much possible. So I hope I did a good justice on this part, because obviously there was a lot to cover. But and these guys, the scientists, has how much of they could tell, I tried to write it down. But obviously you need to be there to understand it better. Okay, and so coming forward, that was the first part of it. The second part of the event went towards our guest speaker. Our guest speaker came all the way from US. I forgot where they live in, but they're from the United States, and they're Trey and Mimi. Okay, so they're a couple, and they're currently number one in Herbalife. So their story was kind of amazing, and I try to summarize their story as much as I can because I cannot do justice for them. But yeah, because you missed it out, I'm trying to summarize it. So this is also going to help me because sharing with you helps me to also reminisce and remember what I learned today, and maybe give me some new points. Okay, so they basically highlighted in the beginning that they are the complete double F life. So this business started because Mr. Trey, his dad was overweight and was approached by someone that he wanted to do this business. And so what happened was he lost weight, he got into a very good shape. And because he got into a very good shape, he became like a walking, talking advertisement. And so he started developing his business. He came to a pretty good level. I don't remember which level, but he was earning pretty good. He was earning money. And but his son went to university. He had an opportunity to actually talk to the founder of the business, and he highlighted in the session how Marcus always had a vision, you always saw how big the company was. But anyways, coming to Trey, he was a university student, and one day when he was coming home, he just happened to come across, like, he was growing up with Herbalife. He knew what Herbalife is, but he wasn't sure if he was capable of doing it. I did not show much interest on it. But so one day he came from a university, and maybe he was worried about finances and all. And so when he heard in his one of his father's training going on, he heard that his obviously his father's income was high, but he heard that one person in that area was earning around $1,000. And $1,000, I think this was around 1990 something. He thought, okay, this is good. I think $1,000 was equivalent to $10,000 of those times. So yes, he was like, this is good. Maybe I could earn something. I'm a student right now, but this income would really help me, and it's better than doing a small job. So he thought, okay, so let me do this, and he started the business. But just like how every almost every person, including me, who joins the business immediately does this, they start regretting, did I do a right thing? Because sales is a very difficult business. You need to go and talk to people, and especially if you're introverted, it's very difficult to sell, right? So yeah, so he faced the same problem, and he was like, I have this person, what do I do? But then yeah, so before starting, it also told he has actually a very good bond with his father. So before starting the business, he asked his father, will I be able to do it? His dad was like, if not you, then no one else. So because obviously fathers obviously, you know well, how do I put it? His father obviously encourages his son. But yeah, so coming to this point, at 19, he wanted to earn extra income, so he got into this. So he took the products. He went to his university. Now he's not sure what do I do with these products, and so then he was able to gather a few friends. He was able to tell about the products, and they liked it. A few people purchased the product, and this got him excited. So he immediately called home and said, I lost, I got, sold the products. His father thought, he might have lost the products, but he said, no, I sold it. And they were very excited. So they went to a warehouse, purchased more products, and so his business took off basically. It was crazy that his business took off by giving to people. And so he was very happy about it, and his business took off in such a way that more and more people began asking for him. So he recruited a few friends. He was like, why did you go give this to a few people, on behalf of me? So he told his dad, I'm doing this, and his dad was like, no, that's not how we do Herbalife. Give them the opportunity, let them do the business, and obviously over the period of time you get a part of commission from them. They grow and also you grow. So he said, okay, sure, why not? And he did that, and he gave the a few IDs to his friends. And so with that, slowly, eventually in 8 months he became millionaire team. And he was like, wow, this is very great, and I'm going to become press team. So press team is a very high level in Herbalife. And so he was excited, but eventually a tragedy struck. One of his mill team members who was working under him left the business and went to a different company. And so naturally, right, because a big chunk of your business, a big workforce of your business, your team of your business left. And so that was a bit problematic for him. So he lost a big chunk of his business there. But he said, no worries, get back again. So that's what he did. And after a few tries and tries and tries, he was able to come back. Okay, so this he tried to mention, like, he had a few phases in life. So I think this is interesting. So I was also going to show a picture, but this one I want to read. So the first phase of his life was the business basics, like the basics to learn. The self was, the self mastery, like, changing your identity. Third was a mindset change, is what he said. And fourth and the last one, which made him the number one distributor in Herbalife, is the leadership and experience. So the phase one, and the lessons of what he learned throughout the entire journey. So lesson one, what they learned is dangers of management mode. So initially they thought that business was all about managing people. So they were like, completely in management zone and all. But then they realized that's not what business is supposed to be. That's not what they're called for. So they left that part of it and they understood, like, it's more about leadership. And yeah, so Herbalife, what I personally also understood from this session is that Herbalife is not a management company. Herbalife is a production business. So the opposite of management is production. So you have to keep producing, you have to keep doing a business rather than depending on others. Lesson number two, what they learned was the stages of a distributor. So from a distributor usually goes from three stages: a baby mode, like, you're just born, you're energetic, active; teenager, when you're like, you're like feel grumpy, you're not sure should I do this business or no; and last, the mature and the most active one. And I felt like, yeah, I just went past my teenager phase. I'm still like exiting my teenager phase, and maybe, like, that really related with that one. Then lesson number three was don't get comfortable in this business. So you have to keep working hard, never get into a comfort zone. Lesson number four they learned was, you have to fail to succeed. Without failing, it's very difficult to succeed. And this was something interesting what he said. When you go through challenges, it's because you need to teach others how you overcame these challenges or these problems you faced. Meaning, there are the challenges which you're facing right now. God has given those challenges in your life because God knows that you're capable of overcoming them. And then you also said that, which is important, opposite of success is not failure. Opposite of success is quitting. Because failure plus passing just once is equal to success. And that was crazy what he said. Okay, so then lesson number five, you have to take action. You have to, like, take things in your own hand, and it's not just hoping for things but also doing things. And lesson number six, the power of a 90-day plan followed by a 90-day plan. So this is again what he said was interesting, that, it's not just having a 90-day plan which is important, but you also need to have a follow-up 90-day plan. So many of us just do the work, like, without any direction. But this is again what he said was kind of cool, that, you're not supposed to just keep hoping, but also have a 90-day plan and work towards it. That's really interesting. And then last lesson number 10, 10, 10, 10. This is what, oh, sorry, lesson number 7 is follow up. So, by the way, a short story what he said. So when he was in Thailand, that's when business opened. So he went to Thailand, he went to that country, and he was doing invitations, but nothing was working. And so back then he took, I think, a trip for about 180 days. He thought, like, let me go and work for 180 days, and if nothing works out, so it be. But he was hoping that, 90 days something going to happen, 180 days definitely something will happen. And he was doing this, 10, 10, 10, like, talking to 10 people and recruiting 10 people per month, and, doing 10,000 volumes per month. That was what his goal was. But unfortunately, even though he was working for 176 days, nothing was happening. And he had 3 more days, that is 177, 178, 179, 180. And then he had to leave back and go back to US. And so he was not sure, like, should he stay, should he go? And some, like, few people were like, anyways, you're here, nothing's working for you, why don't you go for a vacation, explore Thailand? You did not do that. But he said no, because I'm going to stick for this 180-day plan. He stuck on it, and on the 177th day he found a lead. He found one lead who was working in Thailand, and they themselves are like, I felt pity for you that you were not getting anyone, so I came to join your business. So yeah, that was that. But then that those people were actually pretty, they were well-to-do. They already had a business going on for them. So they were like not sure, should we stay, like, do this business? And they not really needed. Eventually, business also opened in Singapore. And these couple also were part of they were also like Singaporeans. The wife, I think the husband was Singaporean, wife was Thailand. I am not sure, but yeah. So the business collapsed in Thailand because of financial conditions, and they had to go back to Singapore. And they were actually working on a day to day to day basis. They're not sure when you're going to get money, if they're going to get money, and all of those challenges. So eventually they came across, Drake called them like when Singapore was opening, like, hey, how are you and all. So he told his problems, and he said, this is your lucky day. Herbalife is opening in Singapore. And interestingly, he also later on tells in the story that how in 1 year's time he was like, the person who was in Singapore was so like struggling a lot, not able to meet financial ends meet, and not able to even help his daughter. But this opportunity actually helped his daughter go to a cruise vacation, like stand back on their feet, obviously get a new business opportunity, which was amazing. Then that was lesson number 7 follow up. Then lesson number 8, momentum has no feelings. So with this momentum coming, like this momentum growth happening, don't actually rely on your feelings, but like obviously there are challenges which are going to come. And in this case, his dad had actually passed away. I actually wrote a lot, but this video is going to become around 22 minutes. I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job, but I'm going to cover a little bit that yeah. His dad passed away around September 2003, and he was doing this business for his father. But yeah, but so then he was like closer to present team. He was about to meet his press team, like first month. But his dad passed away, and I don't think he was able to complete it. And he lost interest in the business because he was doing it for his father. And he was like, what am I doing? Should I do this? And all of those. And I think for a year, he wasn't doing much business until next year he went back to Singapore. His wife was doing the business. He went back to Singapore, and then he saw that there was some things happening, event happening, and the same person, Stephen Grancia, the current CEO, he had actually become 4 diamond of what did he become? 4 diamond. Where did I write this? Basically become 4 diamond 30K. And he felt like what really, like like those guys when they have Singapore Open, both were same mill team level. But in this time frame, like so much happened, and he was like he was like feeling more bad. But he understood like maybe there's some possibility there, maybe there's something. And finally he went back to the same 90-day plan. If 90-day plan, he stuck with it. He spoke to his team like let's work hard, let's do it. And next year he actually became press team. And I summarized this a lot, but yeah, if you have to be there, man. Then lesson number 9, the power of decision and commitment. Like decide something and commit to it, because that really plays a huge role. And finally, lesson number 10, stay on day one attitude. So he got this day one attitude, like the 3Ds: discipline, drive, and determination. He got it from Jeff Bezos, because Jeff Bezos basically said day one is growth, day two is irrelevance, day and then so forth comes decline, and finally death. I think this is what Jeff Bezos got from the business life cycle, which makes sense because the business life cycle has that growth, then maturity, decline, and death. So I felt like that's what he meant, the product life cycle or the business life cycle. And then he tried to talk about it's all about change. You have to change your habits. And he spoke a lot of things, but what else was important? So yeah, these were the 7 like the most important lessons. But then eventually we spoke a lot of things which I don't know if I'm going to cover on this, because it was like a little more personalized. But if I have to summarize it, I would say he was trying to tell that you need to change, and change comes from within. Like he was trying to quote from the book called Atomic Habits, because I was reading it, I knew he was quoting it from there. That change doesn't just come by saying, look, I'm going to change. It's like changing your identity. That I am a swimmer, I'm an athlete. And then he was giving personal examples of him, how he was transforming his life. And major thing came to be when he changed his lifestyle, and when he changed his perspective. So I hope this was helpful for you. So this was all about day one, and this is what happened. And eventually we go up to the evening part, where that's why I'm wearing a kurta today. So what happened is we had party. Herbalife had its own party. It was again very crowded because a lot of people had shown up there, and people had fun. They partied a lot. My parents did go on stage, so that was exciting. So anyways, I hope I hope this was good. I hope this was helpful. I try to summarize as much as possible, but I recommend next time you do qualify and do come for this, because that's more better and that's more fun. Okay, so anyways, Tata, see you. Bye bye. I have to edit this video now, and it's already 9:30. I have to pause this in another. Oh no. Okay, let's see you. Bye bye. See you.